This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, man. We're going to clown the Charlatans gang. Let me say it again. The Charlatans gang. Shout outs to 777 Yojo. Let me say it again. Shout outs to 777 Yojo, because he gave me a soliloquy on this stuff. He was like, look, man, you need to make a series out of this and shout me out. So I'm shouting you out on this video, dude. Today's going to be a bunch of shout outs today. All right. There's a lot of people I'm going to shout out because they actually inspired a lot of these videos that I'm doing today. So on to this video. The Charlatans gang. Who are the Charlatans gang? Andre SOG Ward, Timothy Knothead, aka Bullethead Ass Bradley, and Roy the hating and the trolling ass Jones. Let me say it again. Roy the hating and the trolling ass Jones. This is the Charlatans gang. And here's why they're the Charlatans gang. Hear me and hear me well. These three guys, ever since, they did the whole HBO thing, and now it's kind of converted to ESPN, because really when you look at ESPN, it's the new age HBO, right? Shout outs to 777 Yojo again, because he mentioned that in his comments, so I'm giving my own iteration of it. It is that ESPN is basically the new iteration of HBO. These guys are company men, so they're going to speak like the company. Let me say it again. They are company men, so they're going to speak like the company. They're not independent contractors or independent free agents like Hino's Sport. They can't just say whatever comes to their mouths. If you notice, when Roy Jones Jr. started out initially, I did like him because initially he was giving his own flair. But somebody must have been like, come here, Roy. Can't be talking like that. It was the same thing with Andre Ward. He was giving his original flair. And then somebody was like, come here, Andre. You can't talk like that. And then next thing you know, look at them. Being indecisive, or basically being calculated towards the advantage of previously known as HBO, currently known as ESPN now. So hear me and hear me well. These guys are company men, so they're going to speak like the company. They can't go against the company. Remember, when you're a company man, you have to speak in line or in congruence with the company. Let me say it again. You have to speak in line or in congruence with the company. That's what they're doing. There's a disconnection between these old heads and the new fighters, or the young fighters, or the youngins. Shout outs to the real Marlo, because he came out with a video called The Disconnection Between the Old Heads and the Youngins. I told you, it's his shout out day. There is a disconnection because these old heads are mad at the fact that these younger fighters have the ability to generate more income than them, have the ability to become entrepreneurs quicker than them, and have the ability to have more star power than them. And it gets on their nerves, especially at the level that Andre Ward was at, especially at the level that Roy Jones Jr. is at. So instead of them corralling behind the next generation, which is what they're supposed to do, remember, they're the older guys. They should be setting the tone. They should be setting the example, and they should be setting the mode. They're sitting here going against the mode. You don't do that. That's nonsensical. That's Rudy Poo and Plum Plum brain stuff. But their issue is a systemic issue. It's an epidemic, and it goes beyond boxing. It's just an issue of one hating on the other and not appreciating what the other is presenting to the table at this point. I don't need to go blatant. I'm giving you guys figurative speech here, but the real G's, the super real G's, and the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets will figure out what I'm talking about, and they can draw 2 and 2 together with this. Andre Ward left a lot of money on the table. Gervonta Tank Davis has the opportunity to make all of that money that Andre Ward left on the table. So come on, just put 2 and 2 together here. Roy Jones Jr. is where Earl the Truth Smith is at right now. He was a superstar athlete of his time, right? He ran the fucking early 90s up until the mid 90s, and you could say late 90s, up until Antonio Tarver put it on his ass in the early 2000s, right? Roy Jones Jr., you could say he ran that shit. After Mike Tyson, it was Roy Jones Jr. But was he bringing in what Earl the Truth Smith has the potential to bring in money-wise? No. So there's hatred there, man. The reason why they don't have an issue with Terrence Bud Crawford is because Terrence Bud Crawford is like them. He's a star individual in terms of boxing. We know who he is. He's an elite level fighter, but he doesn't bring in the money like that. So why would they hate on them? Because they're like, motherfucker, you in the same boat as us. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me rewind that because it needs to marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me and hear me Well, they're sitting there looking at Transport Crawford like, yeah, we're going to. First of all, you part of the company. You a company man too. You fall in line. Because remember, who does ESPN represent? So when people don't understand this company stuff, ESPN promotes who? Top Rank. Do the math, folks. It's Top Rank fights. Math it up. So of course they're going to line up with Terrence Crawford. Come on, folks. This doesn't even... Who did previously HBO line themselves up with? Wasn't it fucking Top Rank? Come on. You guys got to do the math here, man. You don't need me to sit here and math it up for you. Because I'm stating the most common sense and I'm stating the most obvious here. Because I remember I have leagues and droves of this stuff. So they have to fall in line with the company and the company's initiative. So there's bias associated with that. There's lies associated with that. Hence, they are the anti-unbiased and biased, aka ants movement. Because they have to give you what their company is telling you to give you. And they have to delude your brain. Have you ever watched a fight with Andre Ward and Timothy Bradley and all of them? They make you think, like the Tyson Fury fight against Otto Wallen. The way they were overrating the performance that Tyson Fury was doing. If you don't turn off these announcers and what the fuck they're talking about, you would have thought that Tyson Fury is having a dominating performance. This shit came out of Timothy Bradley's mouth. And I was like, what fight are they fucking watching? Sometimes when you watch these fights, you have to mute their shit. It's because they have to represent the company. They need to give Otto Wallin the respect that he deserves. And when you have these classic dotes and these troglodytes saying, Otto Wallin was not, he didn't expose Tyson Fury. What the fuck are you talking about? This guy was a number 46 ranked heavyweight. The fight wasn't even supposed to be closed. Is it Tyson Fury's fault for underestimating? Because I could see that's what he did. Otto Wallin, yes, it was his fault for doing that. But it's an exposure nevertheless, because you don't lose to no number rank 46 heavyweight. It's just as much of an exposure as what it was with Anthony Joshua when he lost to Andy Ruiz Jr. So you're exposed for that. Look, man, these guys clearly have an agenda against PBC Fighters. That's why they're the Charlatans gang. Everything in their mouth is always something bad about Deontay Wilder, something bad about Earl Spence, something bad about Gervonta Tank Davis. But it's not just them. And I noticed this. People that are part of this unbiased, aka biased anti-movement, they have an issue with PBC. But what they don't realize with PBC is making these fighters entrepreneurs. Look at Earl the Truth Spence in his recent interview with Fight Hype. You know I'm going to cover down the Earl the Truth Spence is going to what? Bulldog Sean Constipated Porter series, right? The 100-part series. He's talking about man down promotions. That tells you something about Al Heyman. Al Heyman is tutoring these guys. Because prior to that, we had what? Mayweather Promotions. Al Heyman is teaching these guys how to have generational wealth. He's teaching these guys that you have to look beyond boxing. So if Earl the Truth Spence has some fighters under him and he's promoting man down promotions, then guess what? Eventually, he's not going to fight anymore. So now he has his own promotion that he could run with. But they want to shit on Al Heyman, who's teaching these guys how to be shrewd businessmen. He's teaching these men how to be men with purpose and an abundance mindset. Let's keep it real here. This is why they're the Charlatans gang. Because they're hating on motherfuckers that wasn't giving them the same issue. Because let's keep it real here. If Andre Ward had an Al Heyman, Roy Jones had an Al Heyman, Timothy Bradley had an Al Heyman, they wouldn't be talking slide to the mouth like this. They would not be talking shit like this, folks. But they didn't. And now they want to shit on these youngins, just like these older fighters do with these younger fighters. They shit on them. And how come they always look like me when they do shit like that? You don't see the Mexican community, old school fighters shit on the younger fighters. You don't see that with the European fighters. How come it has to do with the black fighters? But people, every time you bring this shit up, oh, you want to make it about race. Oh, you're LGBTQ. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Think what you want, man. Whatever lies make you sleep well at night. Just know that I'm living rent free and what? Space free all over in your head. Soaking up all the damn AC. So whatever you want to think, come to that own conclusion. But I'm the ultimate and cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth teller. So I always come in truth telling fashion. To some people, they can't tell the difference between an ultimate truth teller coming in cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth teller fashion versus someone that's hating and trolling like these classic dotes and these troglodytes are doing. So the Charlatans gang, guess what? You have officially started a mini-series, a 5-part version featuring Andre S.O.G. Ward, Timothy Knothead Ass Bradley, and Roy Jones hating and trolling Ass Jones. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.